Assessment 07. Sustainability.
There is no conclusion to this section. I'm not going to tell you that I know the solution, or even that I'm hopeful that anyone knows the solution. What I can tell you is that I believe if we are to have any hope of finding a solution, we are going to have to undergo a social transformation on the kind of scale that our predecessors underwent when our societies moved from hunter-gatherer societies to agricultural ones, or when they moved from agricultural societies to industrial ones. Major changes. And by major changes I don't mean a fourth industrial revolution claptrap. In spite of all the hype, that is really just the latest version of the Industrial Revolution. But that is not really what this assessment is about. So what is it about then? To set the scene for this assessment, we want you to first try and estimate your own ecological footprint. There are probably many ecological footprint calculators on the web, but we suggest this one because the data used in the graphs you have just seen is sourced from the same site. If this one doesn't work, you can just Google ecological footprint calculator and I'm sure you will find another one.
Right, now that you have an idea of what your ecological footprint is, you are going to do what you have done in most of the assessments up until now. You are going to post a comment, 4 or 5 paragraphs this time, in the discussion forum below. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, yes and no. Your answer must contain all of the following parts. Part A. You need to say something about your footprint based on what you have just read in the sustainability section. How do you feel about this result? Part B. Next, we want you to think back to your previous assessment, Assessment 06. In that assignment that dealt with saving the polar bear, we asked you to think about the essentially virtue ethics questions of, so where do I fit in this? In light of what you have discovered in this assessment in relation to your own ecological footprint, i.e. your own engagement with nature, we want you to critically reflect on the answer to the so where do I fit in this question that you submitted in Assessment 06. Do you think that the answer might need some adjustment, or are you still happy that it is an accurate and truthful reflection on your arrate? Part C counts 60% of the total grade. Finally, the technical part is that we also want you to think about your ecological footprint from the perspective of some of the stuff you learned about in the ethics core. In particular, we want you to think back on 3 of the traditions. Do the right thing, deontology. Here we want you to think about the sustainability problem from the perspective of Kant's categorical imperative, see can do it. Dash, it's all about the outcome, consequentialism. Here we want you to think about the consequences of your ecological footprint from the perspective of trying to maximize the aggregate good in the system. Fair's fair, distributive justice. Here you need to think about what is fair for our children, for future generations, using Rawls' principle 2a, equality of fair opportunity specifically, see how to share. John Rawls, 1921–2002. Remember, we must be able to see from your use of these that you have actually understood the theory in question. If we don't see this, you will not pass this assessment. And I don't need to tell you this anymore, but I will. Once you have posted your original contribution, why not post comments on some of the other contributions? It may even get you some extra marks. And that is it. Happy discussing.